Destrolyn.Becgheddig here with a GameSkinny video review of Dungeon of Elements. Elements of what, you may ask? Well, elements of surprise and total bizarreness. To put it frankly, if you ever woken up and thought, gee, what would it be like if I combined a Western RPG with a casual puzzle game? Well, here's your answer. So here we are, character creation. I'm creating a character called GameSkinny. It's a fairly robust character creation, about as robust as a boobs. Blimey. There's some customization, different hair colours, different hair faces. Ooh, she looks a bit like Diana Dawes. Different faces, different skin. Oh, that's not skin, that's eyes. Different skin colours. You can make her a farmer or a blacksmith, minstrel. Either way, she's unnecessarily sexy. So yeah, it's fairly limited, but like this is, it's more a puzzler than anything else. This is for roleplay purposes only. You can write your own biography. So yeah, let's make her an urchin. I don't know why an urchin would ever look like that. You'd thought it'd be riddled with fleas and malnourished. Not this one. GameSkinny is a sexy urchin. There's a whole story behind this as well. Alchemy holds a special thing, and you go to an alchemist guild. You join in. You try to bring the alchemist guild back to life, back to its former glory, and then stuff happens. So that's the kind of thing. So far, so good, so standard. Then it all gets a bit odd when you actually get down to the battle system. So the battle system is this. It involves you throwing gigantic, oversized, large pills filled with magic smoke. Boom! There it goes, exploded. And that's it, really. Why you throw giant magical pills? I don't know. It doesn't seem to make much sense. But that's how it is. Not to mention the music. This is not the best music I've heard in a video game. I mean, seriously, what is this? It's like the Danny Elfman mobile discotheque. Oh, I beg your pardon? It's just... I don't want to say embarrassing, because that's a really harsh thing to say. But it's just... Well, I'll say it's music. It's definitely music. I can confirm that this is music, and it is musical. And when you combine this all together with the fact that the whole thing the whole concept of the game is as if Dr. Mario had gotten drunk and fallen asleep at the Renaissance Fair, it's just bizarre. I can't seem to figure out why this was ever thought to be a good idea. And everything just feels really segued in. They seem to have, from my point of view, it's like they said, we want to make a puzzle and a game, combined it with an RPG. Well, we've got the RPG elements. We've got, this is my character here with a large porcupine. Look, there I am. But we have to have this puzzle element. So it's just like, oh, we'll do a sort of dropping puzzly pillsy thing. But one thing, despite the fact that I can very happily and very callously, shamelessly tear the game apart for things like music and its concept, I can't lie and say that this is it. I don't enjoy playing this. I can't say that because I really do. It's a really challenging, really strategic, really dynamic game. Yes, it is technically derivative of a lot of sort of puzzlers like this that have come and gone. I know Square Enix have attempted their own sort of RPG puzzle crossover. But despite how sort of casual and this may look, it isn't. You get into this, you get into the long haul, and you get into this because understanding that you will be challenged. Infuriatingly so at points. There are some levels, like this one, which is just really difficult. What am I doing? So, despite being very rough around the edges, it's actually a really good game. I can't really say otherwise, to be honest. So let's actually get on to some actual constructive criticism, because this, as involving and as hard as this game is, and as addictive this game is, there are some points I feel that I really should point out. First thing, and the main thing really, is this system here, the alchemy system. You are an alchemist? Let's make some alchemy. Alchemy, alchemy you. Alchemy everybody in the room. So you use this alchemy system to make things. To make things. Sorry, I'm making things. And that's it really. You collect a load of stuff, you can upgrade armor. You can fail. Oh dear, I failed. Silly me. So yeah, but it gives the impression that this is supposed to be sort of a major sort of part of this cross-genre craziness. But it really does fall short. I mean, you can upgrade your items, which you will find yourself doing quite early on, especially as things like if you give it a water enhancement, it gives you a horizontal AoE, fire, vertical AoE as well. So when you, because you can actually sort of poke monsters with sticks as well to get rid of them rather than line them up with the colours. And things like upgrading boots and silken shoes kind of gives you more slowdown on the actual sort of movement of things as well. So you find out, yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. But towards the end of the game, it starts getting, you don't do it anymore. Because there's only kind of like 2 tiers of levels, possibly a third one, especially Chris Sword. Who's Chris Sword? No. You either have damage 1 or 2, and upgrading them either gives them damage 1.5 or 2.5 or I think 3. So it doesn't really progress too far into the game. I mean, you can make all these little boomers and spritzers and berms, which are handy, but they're not incredibly handy. You will find you're using yourself more in the latter levels, but they're not an absolute game changer. So as much as you can like go scroll through the entire thing for 100% completionist, and I mean there's loads of things I haven't seen. These are that's because I mostly don't do things like upgrade an element to every thing I find, because they all give the same stats no matter what you do. And then there's things like, some things are purely aesthetic, like upgrading your armor. Literally, armor doesn't have any stats. Armor is completely aesthetic. So all you do by upgrading it using the alchemy system, if I actually have anything left, is change its color. It just feels like this is a real waste of potential for something that feels like it should be an integral part of a game. I mean, it isn't completely outside the game, it does still serve a purpose, but it's not as deep and as complex as it really could be. Another thing is the pacing of the game. This is another big thing for me. It starts off very easy. I would highly recommend that if you are really sort of worried about it, starting off on easy at the very beginning, but don't stay on it too long and restart as normal, because otherwise it just becomes a bit laborious. By the sort of middle of it all, you do sort of feel like it's a bit of a grind, that you're not really getting anywhere, and there's not much variety to the game, and you just about start to lose interest. However, if you do stay with it, you then get the really challenging and really worthwhile levels at the end, so it's worth sticking it out. To be honest, and to be brutally honest, I stuck it out because it's kind of my duty to stick it out as a reviewer of the game. I might have been less inclined to put as much effort into sort of progressing through the game otherwise. And to me that's a bit of bad game design, but the fact it really does lag. Even if the payoff at the end is great, and trust me, the payoff at the end is great and also slightly infuriating because it does get really difficult. It's just a shame that it doesn't have you hooked for the entirety of it. Furthermore, it's really short. Now, that's not to say that you don't get many gameplay hours out of it. You'll get quite a few good hours out of it, because each of these puzzles take about 5 minutes for your sort of general novice, like I am, to complete. And there's about 30 of them, so there's plenty of puzzles, plenty of actual play time. But as soon as you start to get the really challenging puzzles, as soon as you start really sinking your teeth into it, the story's pretty much done. And it's just like, it kind of left wanting more, which I suppose in a way is actually a good thing, because it shows that the potential the game has is to really sort of hook you in, and you're kind of sad when it kind of goes away. The other kind of gripes I have with this game is the UI, or the user interface, if you're not in the know. So yes, you have the very important sort of puzzle part of the screen here, and then the rest of it is kind of like, it just feels a bit wasted. You've got this camera thing here, which you can change the camera views, and oh my gosh, it's just a pill. This is really handy for really seeing the... Get out the way, pill. These sort of objects which you kind of see on here. Sometimes you can't quite make out whether they're actually going to sort of block the path of your falling clouds of magic smoke. Have a quick click around, and you see, oh yeah, that definitely will. That's definitely an obstacle. Much more use in the later levels, where there are just far more obstacles to navigate around, which is part of the difficulty of it. But otherwise, it's not really handy, apart from getting giant pills in your face, taking a look at bearded wizards, goblin wizard beardy things. The other thing, here I am, look at me, Destro, sexy, sexy porcupine man. And that's all it does. That's all it does. He just stands there doing nothing. Or if you're sexy, sexy urchin GameSkinny, stand there doing nothing. It just seems like a bit of waste of potatoes. A waste of potential. Could also be a waste of potatoes. I don't know if I used how many potatoes were harmed in the making of this game. For all I can pick holes in the game rather constructively with things like pacing, or just really meanly with things like music and the fact that its outlook is just really bizarre. It's actually really in the spirit of indie games, which is what I love most about it, despite the fact me being a grumpy misanthrope. FrogDice have taken a concept which is, well, it's certainly unusual. It's downright bizarre, actually, with just like, well, throw giant piddles at things. And even if it's very rough around the edges, at its heart is a really good game. This is a really good puzzler. It's challenging, it's absorbing, it's really varied when it comes to designs too, especially the boss battles like this one. It's one of my favourite ones. It took me ages to kind of figure out that, yeah, I can hit it for damage, but then it'll absorb any of the things around it like that and regain health. That's strategy for you right there, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, it's really good. It'll keep you playing. And that's a great thing. It's great to see games like this. It's great to see games like this being crowdsourced, that developers are taking risks and pushing the boundaries of gameplay design. It's well worth your time. So, get it! I'm really bad at this boss. How do I even get so far in the game?
Porcupine eating a carrot. Porcupine eating a carrot. A lady hands him a carrot, and then he's all a num a num num.